How do I start a startup pitch? It's a complete mystery, isn't it? What you're supposed to do to start your startup pitch. Should you just start your pitch? Should you just introduce yourself to the investors you're meeting? Or should you do something else? It might surprise you, but this part is the most important part of your investor pitch. So you need to get this right. And that's what today's video is all about. I'm going to share with you the steps you need to take to get the start of your startup pitch right. I hope you like it. Hi, I'm Brett. On my channel, I help early stage startup CEOs like you raise money and grow your startup. So if this sounds like you, then hit the subscribe button and the bell so you get notified every time I release a new video. Let's get started. And let's start with, when does your pitch meeting really start? And I'm going to start with a quick story. I've been pitching investors now for over 20 years. And if you were to ask me just 1 year ago when your pitch starts, I would have said it's slide 1, of course. But that is so wrong. I don't know why it wasn't obvious to me before, but your startup pitch starts the second the investor enters the room or the Zoom call starts. That's when the clock starts ticking. And I can't emphasize this strongly enough, how important these initial moments are. I'll explain this in the next section, which is, why is the start of your pitch so important? The attention span of an audience is pretty short. Malcolm Gladwell, in his fantastic book, Blink, shows you that you lose your audience's attention in about 7 seconds. Microsoft did a study showing you lose your audience's attention in about 8 seconds. Now think about your own interaction with someone you're meeting with for the first time. We immediately start sizing the person up very quickly. And once that first impression is made, it's really difficult to overcome. Now let's flip the roles. Imagine you're meeting an investor for the first time. An investor is no different than you. They are going to come to a conclusion about you in that first 7 seconds or so. This leads to our next point. The reason why most pitches fail. I was recently teaching a workshop on pitching investors to startup CEOs. As part of the workshop, I had the CEOs run through their pitches with me. The first 7 CEOs that pitched followed the correct format and flow, but there was something missing. Then the 8th CEO pitched, and he followed the same format as the other CEOs, but he just nailed it. The difference was instantly obvious to me. The reason the first 7 pitches fell flat is they were boring. Each pitch went through the basic facts of what their company did. They had the right slides. The problem was the CEOs weren't making an emotional connection to their audience. The 8th CEO, in contrast, did make an emotional connection to the audience. You could just feel it. Now here's the deal. The decision to invest in a startup is an emotional decision first. Then investors use logic to confirm the emotional decision. My epiphany, as I was explaining earlier in the video, is that you need to start making that emotional connection the second you meet an investor, not when you start your pitch. Before I explain the right way to start our pitch, let's take a look at the way you don't want to start your startup pitch. Now let me walk through the start of three presentations that major tech CEOs gave in the last year to launch a new product. Here's the first one from AMD's Lisa Su. Welcome to all of you who are joining us here in the Silicon Valley, and to everyone who's joining us around the world. Here's the second one from NVIDIA's Jensen Huang. Welcome to the event. I hope you realize that this is not a concert. Then there's laughter to the joke. Here's the third one from Satya Nadella of Microsoft. Good morning and welcome. Little did we know when we scheduled the event that the World Cup semifinal for cricket was going on, and I've been up all night. By the way, before each CEO spoke, there was a 1 to 2 minute video showing how great their products were. In my humble opinion, each CEO missed the mark. And let me explain why. I know it's human nature to start by saying good morning or welcome, but the clock is ticking. And you haven't done anything to make the presentation personal. Like I said, the clock is ticking when you're presenting. Now, Microsoft's Nadella comes the closest to this with the story about being up all night watching cricket. The story works because it humanizes Nadella. Now, let's move to the right way to start your startup pitch. And we're going to hear from the master, the best presenter ever, in my humble opinion, Steve Jobs, who is the best tech presenter ever. Here's how Jobs started his presentation of the first iPhone launch. This is a day that I've been looking forward to for 2.5 years. Do you hear the difference between the good morning or welcome that Sue, Huang, or Nadella used versus Jobs' immediately telling the audience that they're about to hear something remarkable? That's what you want to do in those first few moments. The question is, how can you make that emotional connection with your audience like Jobs did? The best way to start making an emotional connection that's relevant is with a brief and to-the-point origin story of why you started your company. Let me give you an example. I'm working with a CEO, Brian, on his fundraising pitch. In Brian's case, he's been moving towards this goal of starting his company since his father bought Brian his first computer when he was just 10 years old. The intro that Brian came up with is this: I've been working towards this moment since my dad bought me my first computer when I was 10 years old. Then Brian went on from there to explain how his previous company had a problem that needed the technology he's developing now. Boom. This works because the story is personal and the story is relevant to what Brian's company is trying to accomplish. Try something like this when you're starting your pitch to investors. Now, if this content is resonating with you, then please hit the like button right now. One final thought. The more personal you make your pitch, the better you will do. It's tried and true. The more personal we make our pitch, the better the pitch will be. A great way to think about using personal stories in your pitch is the stories act like hooks or anchors for the information you are providing. In other words, investors will remember the story, so they'll remember why your startup is going to win. Now, what did you learn from today's video? Put your answer in the comments column below today's video. And if you have any questions for me, put them in the comments column too, and I'll be happy to answer them for you. Now, I have one more thing for you today. It's my free startup pitch deck template. It has all the slides you need to develop an awesome pitch deck. Click the link below today's video, and it's yours for free. And for more great content, click on the video at the end of today's video. And if you haven't already, then click the subscribe button to get notified every time I release a new video. I'm Brett at brettjfox.com. Thanks for watching today. Take care. Bye.